Hello, Tanse, Atlanate, Ani, bonjour. Welcome to Our Shared Politics. My name is Nova. I am a settler on Turtle Island. I created this podcast with the hope of highlighting our similarities amongst our political parties instead of focusing on the differences and pushing people farther apart. I wish to express acknowledgement that I am on Treaty 8 territory, home of the Titskane, Deniza, Nehiawak, Soto, and BC Métis. It is essential I recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, both status and non-status, as the guardians of these lands. As a non-Indigenous person, I play a role as a treaty partner being represented by the government. My pronouns are she, her, but I also accept they, them, and I fall under the 2S LGBTQIA+ umbrella. This is just a little intro and tidbit about myself and a quick rundown on what this podcast will be about. I am a 26-year-old single mother of 2 young children living in a multi-generational situation. I am a welder and would love to take online courses to pursue a bachelor's degree in the future. I am baptized Roman Catholic, but I haven't practiced in 10 years and have been dabbling and learning about other religions and spiritualities. I am proudly the daughter of an addict. I am not ashamed that my mother struggled with substances, and I am an advocate for safe consumption sites, decriminalization, and believing that homelessness is not a lack of character, but simply a lack of housing. People who have always grown up comfortable and stable, even if you weren't necessarily middle or upper class, don't understand how easily it is to fall into homelessness, addiction, to become disabled, for mental illness to trigger, for your life to change in a substantial way where you are not able to continue paying for the life you've become accustomed to. And with the way inflation is happening worldwide, this is becoming a much more real fear as the months drag on. If you're not one of those many people who are literally living paycheck to paycheck, figuring out how to pay rent or bills every month, wondering where the next meal will come from, maxing out credit cards due to needs and not wants, you're coming from a place of privilege. When I did my genealogy test recently, literally the whole of Europe lit up, apart from Southern Europe and the Balkans. My family is relatively new to Canada, to North America in general, as I am the 3rd generation born in Canada, with both sides of my maternal great-grandparents having come over sometime between 1915 and 1930. My dad is adopted, so I don't know their exact timeline with coming to North America, but I know that my Northern and Eastern European ancestry that I have is from him, since I am able to track the other families through paperwork. Both of my parents' families are from Saskatchewan, but I have since lived in Alberta, the Northwest Territories, and now BC. I believe in land back for Indigenous people around the world, from Turtle Island to Palestine to the Sami people. I believe Haitians deserve repayment from France, that Congolese deserve human rights from multi-billion-dollar corporations, and that Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. I am learning to be a better ally as I come from an immense place of privilege. I have been working to decolonize my own thoughts and educate myself further on what it means to be a treaty partner. As an ally, I feel a small paradox between allowing Indigenous voices to lead and speaking up for marginalized communities. I know there are inherent issues with getting white people to listen to Indigenous voices in the first place, and that a white person speaking up unfortunately holds more power in today's colonial spaces. However, I am always worried about speaking up over others who have real, lived experiences in these conversations. This has resulted in me becoming a silent ally in some cases because I don't want to come across as a white savior, but that doesn't benefit anyone other than the oppressor. I'm going to be using the traditional Indigenous names for the different peoples in some places throughout my podcast. For example, instead of the Cree, I will use Nehiawak, etc. I do this out of respect and to recognize that these people and places had recognized names before they were bastardized for colonial convenience. I am going to say sorry now for any pronunciation errors, since I'm sure there will be some. The reason I wanted to begin this podcast was mainly due to the fact that I don't see a ton of specifically political podcasts speaking from just a normal person's point of view. Most political podcasts seem to be journalists just reporting the news on a different platform. I know a lot of people don't inherently understand politics, and so they end up just not caring about it, and we've begun to see the effect that's had and has been having on our societal system as a whole. I believe in international aid, but I won't be speaking regularly on international issues just because I'd rather focus primarily on things that have a major impact on us low income Canadians in our day to day lives. There are also far too many alt right online personalities out there that have seriously begun to gain traction, and this is my way of attempting to put out another perspective into the political sphere. There is so much misinformation being spewed daily, and it's starting to have a dangerous effect on the world today. And because we're in such a digital age, it's almost impossible to combat. It's demoralizing to go on social media and be flooded with comments or posts from ultra right conservative people who obviously have never done any research in their lives through credible sources and instead work on confirmation bias alone. This includes Zionists who have weaponized claims of anti Semitism. I'm not looking to change anyone's mind on any topic, but I'm simply going to give you a different perspective and let you do with it as you will. Or, if we may share the same perspective, this will give you the reminder you need that you're not the only one left who seems to give a shit about other people. For these first few episodes, I'm going to go through the history of Canadian politics and Canada in specifics, not focusing on any single party, but instead a timeline of our prime ministers and where our achievements and setbacks have fallen in chronological order. This is more just a starting place for everyone, including myself, and may include events you've forgotten or maybe never even known. I'm not looking to whitewash history. If you wanted that, you should have paid attention in high school. I'm not sure what else I can say to introduce myself or this show, but hopefully I can gain your interest and we can learn some things along the way. Thank you for joining me. I'll be dropping a new episode every Monday morning at midnight. So check back in next week for the history of Canada. If you or a loved one you know uses drugs, please keep in mind that you can call 1-888-688-6677 to contact the National Overdose Response Services to access support while using and especially using alone. And there is a Brave app with a use alone timer that connects you to a paramedic if you don't respond. Everyone, please consider picking up a free naloxone kit and keep it on hand 24/7. If you're unaware of where you can pick up a kit, simply Google naloxone kit plus your province. If you learned something new today, it'd be awesome if you'd click that button and follow along for next time. Or if you'd like to contact me with feedback, you can email me at oursharedpodcast@gmail.com. Stay safe.